our yellow couches. I know it's actually a full house. Lama, Sia, what's happening?
You know, Zaida, it's unfortunate that South Africa is one of the highest upper Lizweni that has the highest unemployed youth.
That's very true.
And it's because of school.
The pressures of school.
Yeah.
You know, you have to excel, yet, you know, economically, we aren't necessarily given the viable options economically.
Basic education is
even basic education, and hence why, you know, there are such funds like African Scholar Fund. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
So for people who do not know about the African Scholar Fund, what is it all about and when did it begin?
I think the first and most important thing to say is that we're one of the organizations that can lay claim to the fact that we have a 50-year track record.
Oh man.
50 years.
50-year track
Wow.
record. And these are two of our products, but to give you an idea, we work at high school level.
Okay.
We encourage our youngsters to, as you say, at least complete their basic education. You know, you can strive to go to varsity, you can strive to go to a TVET college, but if you don't finish your high school, no
You
way
can't
those
lead
doors
there.
are going to
Very
open.
true.
So that's where the African Scholars Fund steps in. We work in our state schools. We don't get any state funding, so our funds for the 50 years comes from individual donors. There are 5 of us in the office. We work hard at everything, from fundraising to marketing. It's all done from one office. We're now located in Wynberg.
I'm actually quite interested within the funds. Maybe there's some stuff or information you may not release and keep that confidential, of course. But how do you, where do you get the funding? Do you go to corporations? Is it individuals who have the good heart, you know, to be like, okay, here we go, here's 1 million. How do you guys sustain yourself and source funding?
Yeah, South Africa is full of people that have good hearts and that are compassionate. You just need to be able to reach them,
Very
and they
true.
just need to know that there's an organization where if they send their funding, it's channeled in that direction. So as I say, 50 years on, we have a loyal pool of donors and a handful of trusts that work with us.
Now, Ms. Eliza, this foundation excites me very much because education is very important and everybody deserves to get educated. Now, how do you choose the learners that you fund? What type of people are you looking for? And say, okay, the one with the maroon suit deserves this. The one with the white shirt deserves this. He must have a card and spectacles. Hoi.
Yeah, well, we work with many schools. And of course, as I said, we don't have satellite offices. We have 5 ladies sitting in an office. So we depend on the principals and our bursary representatives at schools to identify the learners.
Okay.
They give our application forms to our learners. These two can attest to it. And then it's up to the learner to take the responsibility to apply.
Could I actually speak to one of the learners?
You may.
How did you guys come about knowing, or were you identified by a particular teacher in your guys' school where they said, okay, here's application forms, go apply? How did you go about finding out about African Scholar Fund?
Hi, my name is Yanga Sotoza, and I was funded by African Scholars Fund since 2016 until 2017. So I found out about African Scholars Fund from my maths teacher, which was Miss Mali. And she said I should apply, but at that time I didn't understand what was African Scholars Fund about. So I didn't want it. So she persisted that I should apply, and then I applied, and then that's how I got it.
Now, Yanga, what are you studying currently and how has the fund helped you and what would you like to say to them?
Well, at this moment I'm not studying.
What did you study?
So on 2017 I finished my matric, and then likely African Scholars Fund is working with Guysen Engineering Company, and then there was an internship there, so I applied for it, and then I got the internship on 2018. And then at the end of 2018 I was given a permanent job at Guysen Engineering. That's where I'm working at the moment.
What's this? NSFAS. So how is the fund different from NSFAS? Because nabonga abantu abakhupha imali for abantu bayesikolweni.
We are different in that we only work with high schools.
Okay.
And we help about 2,500 learners every year from Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and Northern Cape public
Oh,
high
wow.
schools.
So where are your head offices if...
We only have one office
Which
in
is here?
Yes, here
Oh,
in
wow.
Wynberg.
Okay. Now, talking about that, do you see your students as well outside after they've finished high school? Do you maybe see, you know, if they have been able to get into varsity, or does it only end in high school? The mentorship that is, you know, because I mean, I'm sure with the scholarship comes, you know, are you okay? Are you all right? How are you doing? Your aspirations and dreams. So are those dreams then seen through after high school, you know, if they pursue themselves?
Okay, during their grade 12, we sort of guide them, we send them information, and we sort of do career guidance
Nice, yes.
sessions with them. And then we also encourage them to keep in touch. So when they pass their grade 12, they send us their results and tell us about their plans.
Wow.
And then we also have a WhatsApp group with them so that we keep in touch and find out how they are.
Anyways, I want to find out from you. Luckily for you, Econ African Scholar Fund, but do you think that the government is doing enough to see through that e-learners are going to school and performing the education that they deserve?
Okay. I think government is doing a bit, but it needs more assistance from the individuals that have money in the country. Government put a lot of money on education, so I think that is right. But our country has recently been democratic,
Yeah.
so I think government is doing its bit.
It's best.
It's best. But now we need funders like African Scholars Fund to assist us to see potential in us, especially in township school.
Yeah, I'd actually like to concentrate on you as an individual, what
Yeah.
African Scholar has done for you. Tell us more. How did you find out about African Scholar? Were you in grade 7? What were you doing? Whatever grade you were in, that is, you know, because it is high school, right?
Yes, high school.
Okay. So how did you go about finding out about African Scholar Fund?
I found about African Scholars Fund about my teacher in grade 9. Then he said I must apply because my marks were quite good, so I qualified for the bursary.
All right, African
Because-
Scholar Fund. So sorry to cut you there. We're running out of time, but thank you so much for joining us right here on our yellow couches. And of course, right now, guys, it's time for us to go in and check in, insert by the African Scholar Fund. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, my name is Eliza. I'm the director at the African Scholars Fund. And today we are in the Eastern Cape, rural Eastern Cape in fact, at a small little school called Nkwenkwezini High School. And we're here to hand over bicycles to every learner. And the reason we've decided to hand over bicycles is because these kids walk long distances from their little home to the school. And can you imagine what a bicycle will do for them? Not only will they be able to get to school quicker, maybe they can sleep a little bit longer in the morning and get to school safely and quickly, and also have a means then to get back. And it offers a bit of recreation for them over weekends, over school holidays. And since every learner at the school, and there's 205 of them today that are getting a bicycle, so since every learner at the school is getting a bike, they can plan all kinds of activities together during the school holidays. So we're looking forward to a really great day where you will be able to see the bikes being handed over. We have the parents here as well, because for the little village, it's a big thing. It's a big thing that they have a donor that came all the way from the States to donate the bikes, and that the African Scholars Fund has coordinated all of this. So we're looking forward to sharing in the joy that these kids will be experiencing today. And you're welcome to join us in that experience.
My My name is David Brienza. I'm from the USA, New York City. I represent Biketown Africa. We're here in Jamala Village, ready to give every student and teacher a new bicycle. It's been fun here. We work very closely with African Scholars Fund to identify this school. They've done that for us. The children are wonderful, big help. They help us actually make the bicycles. Sometimes not so helpful, but most times very helpful. So our partnership with African Scholars Fund and Biketown Africa has been great. This is our 3rd year now working with them, identifying schools and students who are worthy to receive brand new African-made bicycles.
Okay, hello, I'm Gigi Brienza. I'm with Biketown Africa and been here having a really wonderful time with the students, building bicycles and now putting kits together for repair so they can maintain their bike while they own it. And wonderful organized groups of kids who self-organized once they knew there was a process to be had. So having a really wonderful time here. Very proud to be associated with Biketown Africa and thankful to the African Scholars Fund to bring us in touch with these wonderful kids. So having a great day.
African Scholars Fund.
That's a celebration worth celebrating.
And since progressive, so it's definitely a celebration.
So Jubilee, they're so excited within their rights, of course.
No, definitely.
So African Scholar Fund funds with the school fees, uniforms, transportation. Are there any other basic needs that you offer the learners?
Well, besides the little bit of financial assistance that we give them, our grade 9s, towards the end of their year, they have to choose subjects going into their FET phase at school.
Yes.
So this is where we assist. We have a little advice booklet that we send off to our grade 9s to make sure, and we guide them on how to choose their subjects. You know, we don't want younger to do maths lit just because he's struggling with maths, and then one day he wants to go into engineering. So we assist them there. With our grade 11s, we have a career guidance workbook that the learner, the parent, and the allo teacher works with for the entire year. So it's divided into sections. So at the end of their grade 11 year, they go into grade 12 knowing exactly what career path they want to follow. They know whether they have to go to university or can they go to a TVET college for what they want to do. They also know where to look for funding. So the parent also knows, that's what my child's going to do, and we know why my child is interested in that. So at least then in their grade 12 year, that learner can be focused on.
Talking about that, actually, you know, because I just thought right now that you said that you guys go to the actual schools and the teachers source the kids for them to apply, right? Now, if ever you get a student who is interested in coming directly and applying, how do they go about if you guys do allow that?
Well, if you meet our criteria, we take you on board. And our criteria is 50% or more in every subject.
Okay.
Okay.
So our minimum is 50. And then you at a school where the school fees are 4,500 or less per year. And then your family income is 7,500 or less per month.
And where do people get these application forms if ever they would like to access?
We send it off to the schools that we work with, or you can go onto our website, www.asf.org.za, and you can download these application forms. Many of the schools we work with are in our rural areas. So this is where the learners depend and rely on our bursary reps
makes
to give them
sense.
the application forms.
So looking back to that video, actually, because I saw a bike that you guys gave to the students. And this is because of the distance, am I right? That they cover, because it's in rural areas. Okay.
We're very proud of our relationship with Bike Town. This is our 3rd or 4th year. And in fact, we were introduced to Bike Town by Life Choices. I'm sure you know Life Choices also goes around to schools. So we do work in collaboration with other organizations that are busy with schools. So we've been giving bikes for the past 4 years and rain jackets. I remember the one school in Seymour, we had just given them the bicycles on the one day, and then 2 days later we got an email from the principal showing that it's snowing. And it was amazing. The one day was a hot day, and then 2-3 days later it was snowing, and so the rain jackets came in handy.
So ngezabantu that live far from school.
We are in partnership with Bike Town Africa. They are based in the USA. So every year they ask us to identify a school in the rural area. So we look at the schools in our database and decide which one to choose.
Okay, can you decide to choose Cape Town TV as well? Because I live far from work, and
Specifically ask for rural.
this can be rural if we decide. So now, Miss Eliza, what's challenging about your job, as well as what do you enjoy the most about the work that you do?
Oh my word, if I didn't enjoy the work I did, because it is challenging. It's challenging in the first place that we work with the poorest of the poor, and that's a cliche. That we don't get state funding, that we do the administration that's required, we do the mentoring that's required, and we have to do the fundraising that comes with it. I have to take my hat off to our donors. They've been loyal. They've been really loyal, and they've been loyal because we give them the feedback that they need. We have, when Yanga or Aviwe writes to us, we keep a copy in their file and we send their letter on to the donor. So the donor can see and they can build their relationship with their donors.
What has African Scholarship Fund taught you outside of school?
African Scholars Fund have taught me to be responsible, because I have to write letters by myself and send it by myself. By that way, I became responsible of my future.
Yes, that's great.
That's right. And then, okay, it has provided me mentorship. Okay, they have provided me mentorship and career guidance so that I can choose a career for myself. And
what would you like to be, out of interest sake, if you're not doing it already?
Okay, now I am an intern at Garcia Engineering.
Nice.
Okay,
nice.
So next year I intend to go and start for civil engineering.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Younger?
Yeah, okay. No, yeah, I was going to ask you the exact same thing. Yanga, what has African Scholarship Fund taught you outside of school, as a human being?
Well,
the overall aspect of a human being.
Okay, it taught me to be proactive, because you need to be the one to sign the form and also go to ask the teacher for the form, and also decide which subject to do or which career you're going to follow. For example, like after I finished my grade 12, I wanted to be a mechatronics. But
hard one.
Yeah,
hard one, but you can do it.
Okay, Younger, before we let you guys go, we know what African Scholar Fund has done for you. So what are you prepared to do for EOE Foundation to show your appreciation and give back?
well, at the moment, I'm still helping at home, but as the time goes on, I'll be the next donor at the African Scholars Fund.
Oh,
wow. Wow.
So before you can answer.
Can I?
And me, I'm tutoring young students who are doing matric, so that more students can get the opportunity that I get to be with African Scholars Fund.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Ms. Eliza?
I just wanted to say that is a question that a lot of our donors ask. What do they do afterwards? But you have to bear in mind, we work at high school level.
Yes.
From high school, they have to educate themselves. And then once they start working, you should know, Yanga starts to look after his cousin brother or cousin sister. And the shortest period that we've had for one of our bursars to become a donor is, what was it? It was Simpiwe. It was 16 years. So then only he
That was the youngest.
the shortest period,
Oh, the shortest period?
of having left the African Scholars Fund as a
Was a
bursar.
16-year-old.
16 years before he was able to really give back and
Oh, I
yeah.
hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all
for
right.
funders or potential funders, the African Scholar Fund is known as that. So what could you tell them? Why should they assist?
Firstly, with our bursaries, we don't just give out. It's not a handout. They have to work for it. We have a criteria that a learner must pass with 50% and above in all subjects. And then when she's in the program, we give the first payment beginning of the year. And then to get the balance of your whole bursary, you must work hard again to achieve the 50% that we want in June. Then we pay out the balance.
Right.
Okay.
And right now, we're about to play out the balance here at Breaks.